welcome to JoeJoeMoto. Today I'm going to teach you how to change a tyre on a dirt bike. Okay, so I've changed tyres on dirt bikes many times over the years, and I've got to say it's probably one of my least favourite jobs on a bike. However, there are lots of simple steps that I'm going to teach you along the way that will help you to change a tyre a lot easier. So today we're changing the rear tyre, pretty similar front and rear, not too many differences. The first thing you're going to want to do is jack the bike up so you can get either the front off or the back off depending on the tyre that you're doing. Undo that axle nut, get the axle out, get that tyre off, and then we can start to work on it. First little tip I've said in other videos is using a little wheel chock or something like that just to hold the wheel up when you're getting it on and off. Makes it a lot easier. With the axle out, move the wheel as far forward as it can, get this chain off, out of the way, and your whole wheel will slip right out. Okay, so I've got all sorts of fancy tools and jigs and all sorts of things to change a tyre, and really you don't need any of them. I've changed tyres on the side of trails, on the side of tracks, up in Cape York, all sorts of things, and all you need is a couple of levers. That's about it. But today in the shed we're going to use these things because it does definitely help us out. The first thing we've got today is a bead breaker, and this just makes it a lot easier, especially those big adventure tyres. Just takes a little bit of pressure to break off the bead. Thankfully today's tyre we've got here, I ran it flat and the bead's already broken, so we shouldn't really need it, but we'll just run it around with the tyre with the bead breaker and go from there. Right, with the bead all broken, I don't usually use this jig or machine to do anything with the tyre after that. I just get a spare old tyre to rest this on top of and do the rest from there. Alright, so one of my first tips or tricks I guess is wearing a set of knee guards. Just makes it a lot nicer to work around when you're shoving your knees into the tyres really hard and whatever. Okay, so here in the shed my next big tip is just having multiple tyre spoons. Having this nice longer one here makes it easier for those last couple of wrenches on it and getting it off for that first time as well. But on the trail I definitely only carry two of these small lightweight ones, and it's more than enough. So if that's what you got, you can definitely change a tyre with just two. In a normal dirt bike tyre you've got the rim lock and the valve. So what you want to be doing is starting not near the valve or the rim lock, starting away from that, and also what you want to be doing is pushing your knee into the side of the tyre here so it gets that bead down in the centre part here. Because what you do is if it's too close to the bead there, you're not actually getting any leverage on the other side. So you want it to give it more weight on the other side, give you more room, more pressure, and it's going to be easier to get the tyre off and also back on later. Okay, so it's time to get into it. I'm going to jam my knees in here tight. I'm going to get the first tyre lever in, right in past. And because I've got multiple tyre levers, I'm just going to get in there with all of them. Make sure I'm over the bead with all of them. Try not to smash your rim around too much when you're doing this. You want them spread out enough, wide enough so that they're you're getting a good pinch each time, but not too wide so that you can't get a pinch at all. You want them close enough so that you can actually get them over, but not too close that you're just wasting your time and doing little pinches all the time. Okay, I'm going to really jam my knees in there now to get that bead in really close to the centre of the tyre. I'm going to get this first one over, hopefully. Woo. I'll lock it into the sprocket. You can see how I've locked it into the sprocket there. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. And now, at this point you're seeing why it's my least favourite job. It's not easy. You know, it's definitely easier to pay someone to do it, that's for sure. But That's not the way I roll, so just keep going. Over this side, we're going to undo the rim lock, take the cap off, and take the little retaining nut off the valve as well. Okay, so we've got the rim lock undone here. We're also taking the valve cap off and the retaining nut for the tube valve. And with all of that, we can take the rest of the bead off this side. With the entire bead off this side, what we're going to do is we're going to push the valve stem through. We're going to remove the tube from inside the tyre. Alright, so with the tube off, what we've got to do now is we've got to get this other bead on this side over the rim, and it's probably one of the harder parts. Just going to start this side by getting the bead over the rim lock. Okay. So as you can see, I've got the bead over this side of the rim lock, and now it's time to just sort of peel the tyre off the other side of the rim. Alright, once you get to this starting point here, you should be able to just peel the tyre off after that. You can see I've got a nice big gap happening here, and just being able to peel the tyre down. Hopefully, whew, it's hard work. These are jammed in nicely. Oh. Come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Separated. Woo. Alright, with those apart, now what we want to do is we want to go through and clean the inside of the rim here, check for any damage, check the rim tape is all good, and then we're ready to put the new tyre on. Now with that all cleaned up, it's ready to put the new tyre on. First thing you want to do is check to see if the tyre is directional. If it is, just work that out and make sure you're putting the tyre on the right way. And one of the big tips and tricks, soapy water. You can get that special paste stuff that they put on at the tyre shop to make it lubricated, but I've found soapy water works just as well, it's fine. So we're going to start by getting the tyre set up, and we're going to slot the rim in, I guess kind of opposite to what you did last time when you were peeling it off. So we're just going to try and get as much of that first bead in as we can as we push the rim down into there. Then from there, we're just going to start to bring that bead over the top over the first side of the rim. So now that I've got it snugged in there, I've got it all soaped up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to get some levers in, and I'm just going to be putting pressure down and just slowly getting that bead over that first edge of the rim. Little bites at a time. And I'm going to use multiple levers. And that's it. Woo. One side of the bead on. Alright, so that's half the bead on there. We've got the tyre actually mounted on the rim, and we've got the other bead to put on after the tube. As I keep saying, it's not my favourite job, that's for sure. It is hard work. What we're going to do now is we're going to get the tube in there, and I do have a little special trick for that as well. Okay, so I always run the Michelin 4mm ultra heavy duty tubes. I've only had 4 flats, I think, in the 10 or 15 years I've been riding, and one of those I rode through where nails were and there was just nothing that was going to happen. Another one, I didn't have a rim lock, so I pulled the valve out, and last time was just running the pressures, just no pressure basically, nothing at all, so I just got a pinch flat, and another one was just a normal flat. So I definitely highly recommend these 4mm ultra heavy duty tubes because they seem to work really, really well. My first little tip here is putting a little bit of air into the tube before putting it into the tyre, and it sort of helps prevent with pinches when you're putting the tyre on. My next little tip is this guy. It's called like a valve snake or something like that, And what we're going to do is we're going to feed it through the valve hole here, up and out of the tyre, and then we're going to connect it to the valve on the tube. And once we've got the tube all in there, we just pull on this slowly and it'll pull the valve through the hole there. Because one of the most frustrating things is trying to line up that valve and push it through the hole. It gets really tricky, so this definitely helps out. Line up the tube. Already taken the valve out of the tube there. There we go, connected and ready to pull through and make it nice and easy. Okay, so the next little tip here that I've picked up from somewhere, a little bit of talcum powder on the tube, and as it goes into the tyre and rim there, it helps it settle in and not get bound up as you're inflating it and setting the bead. Get in there. Man, this tyre is stiff. It's going to make this job hard. I wonder it's so hard to get on before. The tube's in, so you see the valve's not actually inside the rim yet at all. So what we're going to do is use this valve snake, get it tucked in there. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of thinking, a little bit of lining up, but it's a lot better than without it, that's for sure. Now the tube's all in, we're going to go to this side now. We're going to get the this bead part just over the rim lock here, and then we can go back to the other side and get this valve in. So what I've done here is I've got the bead over the side of the tyre here. It means that I can push the rim lock up high and it's now inside the tyre, and then I can let this back off again, get this part of the tyre on, and it'll be sitting then between the rim lock and the tyre. Woo! Now with that valve through, tube's all in, it's time to get some nice bit of soapy water going around here. We're going to pull this tyre on. We're going to start away from the rim lock, away from the valve. Give yourself plenty of room, and you want to give yourself plenty of room. That's it. The thing you want to be really wary of is pinching the tube. You don't want to have to do all this again. So just be really careful as you're pulling that bead over the rim. Just be watching out for the tube. That little bit of air in there is helping it to stay away from the tyre levers and rim and whatever. So we'll just keep going around this side, and we're going to get it in to the rim lock kind of first, and then work from there. Okay, so you can see the tube needs to go over the rim lock. Just being really careful, just take your time, look at it carefully. You don't want to be pinching tubes, it's the worst thing. Yeah, there we go, good. So the rim lock part is in. And get that bead down. That's it. So the bead's now sitting in between the rim lock there. So the reason I've got my knee guards as before, I'm putting a lot of pressure down to get that bead inside the center of the rim there where it's got a lot more room. I'm going to work my way around and opposite where I'm pushing my knees in hard to give me a lot more room and leverage to get that tyre over. That's good. Just slowly, carefully. There we go. Beautiful. New tyre is on. Alright, so now that that's all on, it's time to put a whole lot of pressure in and make sure we seat the bead the whole way around on both sides of the tyre. Okay, so hopefully you can see that the bead is starting to push over the rim there. There we go. It's definitely all seated and even on this side. I know it's really loud, sorry about that. Sometimes if it doesn't seat, you might need to let the pressure down. Put a bit of soapy water in the spot that it's not seating, you know, pull it apart with the tyre lever a bit, and then pump it back up again, and it should squeeze out the bead there. Okay, there's 40 psi. I'll check the bead on both sides. Beautiful, nice and even on both sides. What we're going to do now is we're going to let the pressure down to about 10 psi is what I'm going to run in this tyre. Let's do up the rim lock. My little tip here is with this valve nut. I never do it up tight against the rim. I've found that if you do that, a lot of people end up tearing the valve out of the tube. So I put the cap on and then I back it out towards the cap and leave it like that. Okay, it's nice and tight. Valve cap on, little nut backed off there, plenty of room. Time to put this rim and tyre back on the bike. Axle nuts nice and tight, not too tight that I can't undo it on the trail. Chains adjusted, give it a little spin, make sure nothing fouls, make sure it's all spinning nicely, tyres not hitting anywhere. Nice. Nice. Okay, so that's it. Tyre is mounted. Like I kept saying through the whole video probably, it is one of my least favourite jobs. As my father once taught me, the easiest way to do a job is to get someone else to do it. So you can pay a tyre shop to do this for you, a bike shop. Usually it's, the fitting is included in the cost of the tyre, so if you're paying $120 for a new rear tyre, you take the rim to them or take the bike to them and it's fitted for you at that price. So usually it's a lot easier to just get someone else to do it, but I really do enjoy it. Even though it's really difficult, I like the satisfaction of doing it all myself. So I hope you've learnt a few little tips and tricks here on the way through with doing the new tyre. If you appreciated the blood, literally, sweat, and not so many tears this time that I put into this job, don't forget to buy me a beer. The link's down below if you feel like buying me a beer after this video, because I feel like I've earned it, that's for sure. Don't forget to drop a comment below and let me know what you thought of it. If you've got any tips or tricks about changing a tyre, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Share this video with all your friends so that they can change a tyre easily on their dirt bike. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video. Gosh, that's why I dislike this job. Every time I bloody hurt myself and ding myself up. Look at that, it's just like instantly... Oh gosh, what have I done? That's just swelling up real bad. Uh-oh. That doesn't look good at all. Ugh, what have I done? I'm going to go and put some ice on that straight away, I think. That looks bad. That looks real bad. Ugh.